as well as bigger brains. Over a dozen species of humans have been proved to have existed. Out of all those, Homo sapiens are the only ones that survived. And the main contributor to our survival is our brains, the part that control things like our communication and planning. Planning skills helped us make better weapons, trade between us, and made us a better team against Homo erectus, which was another group that was bigger and more powerful. Number 4 says our Earth is moving about 67,000 miles around the sun. The Milky Way moves through space at about 1.4 million miles per hour. So we don't even think about how fast we're moving through space, but that's pretty crazy. In July 2012, Earth nearly missed an extreme solar storm. If the explosion would have reached Earth, it would have caused radio blackouts. It would have been a big threat to our technology and left the whole world without power. The only other thing we can compare this to, I believe, was I don't remember, it was in 1960 something, I believe. There was an actual solar storm that happened, and people were saying that even when they disconnected their radios or back then those telephones that they had, they said they would still work. There was reports of power surges and things catching on fire, and it was huge. But I mean, back then in those times, we didn't have the technology we have now. We didn't have computers and cell phones, and our I guess society didn't rely on technology as much, because now you have all these other crazy things. And it's not even about let's say your phones, let's say other more important things like hospitals. They have all those machines and technology that are keeping people alive. Imagine during a blackout, that would be very, very dangerous, and it goes more than just losing power in your cell phones and computers. But I mean, either way, with this blackout, it wouldn't just be losing power for a couple of minutes. I think I read that if in 2012, if this would have had happened, we would still probably be fixing this issue today. Every year, the moon moves slightly away from Earth. At the moment, this doesn't really affect us, but in the far future, this could cause changes to our Earth. Being too far could cause changes in our tides, could slow down Earth's rotation, which means a single day might take longer than a month, and eventually, if it moves far enough, it is possible the moon could leave Earth's orbit. If this ever does happen, it'll be a long, long time, and obviously our sun is kind of at some point it'll turn into a red giant, I believe. But before that, it'll consume Earth. So possibly by that time, it won't really matter anymore, because we won't be on Earth. And if we are, we'll be, we'll have more we'll have bigger problems than worrying about our moon. We'll have to worry about the sun consuming us. Stepping out into space without a suit would cause you to explode like a balloon. Two possible endings to the universe are one they call the Big Crunch. The Big Crunch's gravitational forces will reach a limit and cause the universe to stop expanding and fold in itself. The other possibility is a Big Rip, and that is when the universe expands to the point where gravity means cease to exist. Now, before you kind of start worrying about all that, the thing with these theories is that scientists agree that the universe is young. So even if this was like a big possibility, or if this was like something that will happen, it would be like a long, long, long time before it happens, you know? So, no need to worry about that at the moment. This one says, obviously we know that tectonic plates are always shifting in Earth, but Australia is moving so quickly that it requires updates to maps and GPS systems fairly regularly. It moved almost 5 feet between 1994 and 2016, according to geologist Christopher Scottsy, I believe. In about 50 million years, Australia will be colliding with Southeast Asia. In about 250 million years, the continents might all merge into a single supercontinent again, like Pangea, which is super dope. Imagine that, Pangea coming back. The thing with that would be, you know how obviously they say, I believe it's India. India hit the continent, and now there's like these mountains all over India where it collided with Asia. Would that happen with Pangea? Like, let's say we all kind of start moving back together. Since the tectonic plates are basically pushing against each other, would that mean that it would slowly form mountains in certain areas where they connect? It's kind of like the Mount Everest, you know, those are just two plate tectonics pushing into each other, but instead of dipping, they rise up. And I'm not sure, this isn't a fact or anything, I'm not sure, but I believe Mount Everest is still getting taller just because those tectonic plates are pushing onto each other. I don't know where it went, but I had a fact here talking about a headless chicken. I don't know if it deleted or something, but they said that when they chopped this chicken's head off, it was still alive, and it remained alive for the next 18 months. I guess the way they cut the chicken's head, it was still able to stay alive, and it had a picture of them like feeding it with like a needle. It's not like a needle for like an injection, it's like just to put liquid down its throat. But yeah, I let me see if I can find it. This is gonna be weird on my search history. 18-month headless chicken. There it is. Alright. His name is Mike. Mike the headless chicken. Alright, it says 70. Well, I don't know what. Oh, this was made in 2015. It says 70 years ago, a farmer beheaded a chicken in Colorado, and it refused to die. Mike, as the bird became known, survived for 18 months and became famous. But how did he live without a head for so long? And there's a picture of it, headless. On September 10th, 1945, Lloyd Olson and his wife Clara were killing chickens on their farm in Colorado. But one of the 40 or 50 animals that went under Olson's hatchet that day didn't behave like the rest. They got down to the end, now one who was still alive, up and walking around, says the couple's great-grandson. The chicken kicked and ran and didn't stop. It was placed in an old apple box on the farm's screen porch for the night. And when Lloyd woke the following morning, he stepped outside to see what had happened. The nostrils and dropped directly into his esophagus. Another vital bodily function they helped with was clearing mucus from his throat. They fed him with a dropper and cleared his throat with a syringe. That's what I saw. It says the night Mike died, they were woken in their motel room by the sound of the bird choking. When they looked for the syringe, they realized they had left it at the sideshow, and before they could find it, it suffocated. It says, why those who tried to create a headless chicken of their own did not succeed is hard to explain. It seems the cut came in just the right place, and a timely blood clot luckily prevented him from bleeding to death. It says Troy suspects that his great-grandfather tried to replicate his success with the hatchet a few times. It says other neighbors would as well. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I'm glad I kind of looked into that fact more. Anyways, this one is about a fungus, a mushroom that's, it's called the armillaria fungus, and it says a mushroom that's proved to be a gigantic wonder. A scientist in Michigan found one in the early 1990s that turned out to weigh about 22,000 pounds, and it extended out 37 acres. When scientists started hunting competitively for the giant armillaria, an Oregon sample was found that covered more than 2,400 acres. Researchers estimated that its age was 86,000 years, a little bit over 86,000 years. This particular fungus gets so big because it grows root-like structures called rhizomorphs that extend underground for miles. It grows up into trees from below, and as a result can kill large forests. Okay, and this one was a very weird one, and I leave it in the comment if you knew this happened, because I was like, what? It says every unborn baby grows a mustache in the womb, which then spreads to cover the entire body. The baby then eats this fine hair. So babies grow a mustache, and then they grow, I guess, which spreads to cover their entire body. So I guess we grow hair everywhere, and then that hair falls off, and then we eat it. That's crazy. I didn't know that. It says in 2012, scientists found 1,400 new species of bacteria living in the belly button. Everyone's belly button ecology is unique, like a fingerprint. In one volunteer's belly button harbored bacteria that had previously been found only in soil from Japan. He has never been to Japan. That's weird. I wonder how he got that. That soil traveled from Japan to wherever that guy was, and he got it somehow. It says, the next one says, the reason why we can't see the whole universe is because some parts are too far away from Earth. The light hasn't had enough time since the Big Bang to reach us, and considering that the Big Bang was almost 14 million years ago. Wait, is it million or billion? No, I think it is million. Is it? Wait, don't they say Earth is like... I gotta look this up. How old is the Earth? Is Earth like... Is it millions or billions? How old? Sorry, I'm getting distracted. So the Earth is 4.5 billion years, so I probably got this wrong. It's probably 14 billion years, the Big Bang Theory. oceans could be an average of 3 feet higher by the year 2100. So this is kind of talking, this is kind of going into global warming. So it's saying that in 2100, the average, the oceans could reach 3 feet higher, which would displace over 700 million people in low coastal zones and small island states. Even if carbon emissions drop to zero tomorrow, scientists say we will still be watching human-driven climate change play out for centuries. That's insane. And we can't even, well, I mean, a lot of people don't even care about climate change, but even if we were to fix it today, like go zero, we would still feel the troubles that we've, the greenhouse effect that we've caused since a long time ago. The planet's ocean absorbs a whopping 93% of the extra heat that greenhouse gases trap in the atmosphere. Last year was the hottest year on record for the oceans, but I think this one was not written in 2020. This one was written in 2018, if I'm correct. So I wonder what it's like now, 2 years. In 2012, Greenland lost more than 400 billion tons of ice, which was almost quadruple the amount lost in 2003. In the 1980s, Antarctica lost 40 billion tons of ice annually. In the last decade, that number jumped to an average of 252 billion tons, and that is per year. That's insane. Warmer water is contributing to more frequent and intense hurricanes. That's true. We've had a lot of hurricanes this year. But as well, I'm from Texas, so the humidity sucks. If warming continues even at its current rate, a major glacier near the South Pole could reach a tipping point, after which it loses all its ice. The loss could trigger a chain reaction of melting in the Antarctica called a pulse, which could raise global sea levels by 8 feet. And it has a picture here that I'll kind of show on the screen. Basically, this would take up a lot of Florida and places like Miami and places like that, pretty much will be underwater. So we'll have a bunch of modern day Atlantises, and that's only for Florida. Obviously every coastal state and places like Hawaii will be even worse. A total mass of all insects on the planet is decreasing by 2.5% per year. If that trend continues, the Earth may not have any insects at all by the next century. And that is a major, major, major problem. And I know people hate insects, and some people hate bees and wasps, stuff like that, but all those insects contribute to pollination. So your fruit, vegetables, and nuts, peanuts, all that, those insects help pollinate them. They help them spread and move around. And so kind of going back, I guess, to those facts I just said about the ice melting and all that, apparently those are best case scenarios. So that's, I guess, if what's it called? We have zero carbon emissions. So even if we go zero emissions, we will still see climate change. It just won't be as bad, but it will still be bad. So I guess in the worst case scenarios, in worst case scenarios, obviously we'll see rises in temperature, like drastic rises in temperature. severe weather will make farming more difficult. So there might be a scarcity in food as we have more droughts. Climate change is expected to decrease the nutritional value of important food crops like wheat and rice. So yeah, food security crisis. And I guess in the most extreme of heat rising issues would be that it could cause clouds to despair. So our clouds could disappear or just be more rare. And I don't know about you guys, but I work construction on this, like I work construction, and man, clouds are like your best friend because it gets so hot and all that sand, all that bright sand reflects that heat, and it just, man, it's so hot. But whenever there's a cloud, man, I'm like, thank you God. When it blocks out the sun and it kind of gets a little bit cooler, that is heaven to me on earth when I'm working construction. But anyways, it could cause clouds to despair, which would in return cause the earth to heat up, because the clouds shield us from the sun rays and contribute to cooling the earth. And I believe they said, there's obviously different places say different things. From what I've read, some places are saying that usually clouds help cool down our earth probably by 17, 20 degrees. But they're saying that if clouds were to disappear because of heat issues, we would see a rise in the global climate by 40 degrees, I believe it said 30, 40 degrees, which even if it was something smaller like 10, 20 degrees, like we're already feeling those record-breaking, heat days, like in Texas, it always gets to like over 100, but now it's like 105, 115. That's already bad. Now put 10, 20, 30, possibly 40, maybe more than 40. Imagine that, going outside and it being 120, 130, 140. That's just too much, man. That is insane. And I know for us humans, we can find ways to adapt to that. But if you kind of look at the view of animals who are not aware of what is going on, if you look at our oceans, like I said, the oceans absorb 93% of that heat. We're going to be killing off our coral reefs. It's gonna get too hot for certain species. Not only that, as well as the deforestation issues that we have with, things like the Amazon rainforest. We're taking out trees. We have so many animals that are at the verge of extinction, and it's just getting worse. With that, obviously we're taking away those trees, we're taking away our oxygen. Going back to the heat issues, we're melting Antarctica, which again, that'll just cause the water to melt, and as well, things like California, we have those massive fires. Well, we have those all over the world, but I was just using California as an example. But with that big heat, we'll see we'll see these massive wildfires start and just keep going and going and going. There will be places that don't have winter and you know, they don't have ice, and the temperatures, the not the seasons, I guess the seasons would kind of stay the same, but obviously summer will be hotter, winter will be warmer, and going back to Antarctica, when that ice starts melting, you know, you never know what you can find. There might be diseases just lurking there, you know, lurking through that ice, and once that ice melts and that gets into our water and that starts traveling through the world, there might be new diseases we also have to worry about that were, you know, frozen in the glaciers. But I guess we'll see what happens. But anyways, I hope I didn't scare you with these facts, and I hope you rest well. Now it is time for me to go to bed because it is super late and I have to be up in a couple of hours. But I want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I want to thank you guys for commenting on my videos. I want to thank you guys for a lot. I appreciate it. I always do. And yeah, I'll bring back more of these videos since I know you guys really like them. Thank you for supporting my channel and everything, guys. It really means a lot.